Welcome to a Nonsense Wars Lego repair thing. Today we are going to replace the degraded wire in a 9-volt cable, as I got a request to record this process from someone on the Great Ball Pit Discord. These parts are collectively called Part 5306B, with various suffixes for various lengths, and the wire insulation material from around 2000 rots pretty much without fail and eventually requires replacement. This process can get a bit fiddly, but it also does not require any specialized tools. Some things to pry with, some things to cut with, and perhaps some things just to poke around with. First, you use a small flat screwdriver to pop the tabs securing the bottom of the connector and pry the piece out. You will have to pop one tab at a time. If you have two tools of the right shape, you can use one to hold one side open while you do the other. Once you open the connector, you can see how it works. There is a hole in the bottom and a peg in the top, which bends the wire into a U shape and prevents it from pulling out. Under the top and on the side opposite of where the wire enters, two sets of tiny metal teeth bite through the insulation and contact the metal inside. The bottom piece has tiny notches that secure the teeth when the connector is assembled. Now you want to take your new wire and form it into the final U shape using the flat screwdriver and the hole in the bottom piece. This will make pressing the final assembly together much easier. Sourcing some paired wire also makes this easier, but if you are using single wires like me, taping them together will also help. Unless you lined up the wire perfectly, trim the excess that won't fit. Before setting the cable into the top half of the connector, you should straighten out the teeth, as they probably bent when the connector came apart or the wires came out. Similarly, when you press the new wires back into the teeth, make sure they cut into the insulation rather than bend again. Once everything's set, you can smash the whole thing back together and check if it works. Well, at least for this attempt, you can see that it didn't work. I hooked up the cable to a battery box and a PF converter, and I'm not getting anything across the leads. That being said, it's not that uncommon to have to reseat the new wires once or twice, especially if said wire is a little too thick or the insulation is a little too hard, both of which are probably true for these wires. Now if you look closely, and unfortunately it's hard to see in the footage, you can see that one set of teeth got bent because they didn't cut into the insulation. I pulled out the offending wire, unbent the offending pins, and I more carefully poked and prodded that wire between the teeth before trying to press the teeth into the wire as well. So slap the whole thing back together, and lo and behold, it actually works. Now you just need to do it on the other side. Ultimately, if you use a more appropriate wire, you can probably fix one end in 5 to 10 minutes. I've been using 22 gauge, but like I said, you actually want maybe a 24 or 26 with a softer insulation. For what it's worth, these connectors are probably still easier to take apart than the power functions connectors. On that note, this is the end of the video, so have a nice day.